Just moving on there, right?
Is there anybody who would like to speak during public comment?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Rodney.
Good afternoon. Good evening, everybody. My name is Rodney Alexander, first vice president of the Windham Willimantic branch of the NAACP. I'm here today because it was brought to my attention that the Board of Ed is looking at cutting the bilingual program from the schools. We have a predominantly Latino population in the schools. I think it's imperative that this program stays in the schools, because not only will it help Latino students, it's going to help the students who are not Latino to improve their Spanish skills, etc. And I think this is huge. I don't know why this would be up to be cut. I'm just really concerned because I just don't think it's fair to the students. Thank you.
Thank you. We're not allowed to go back and respond to that, but I will get when we get to the agenda to address that question for you, Rodney. Okay. We'll make sure that Dr. Youngberg addresses that issue. Who else? Somebody else is not on mute. Could you please mute yourself unless you intend to speak during public comment?
Lynn, I didn't quite hear what you said because it was breaking up.
I said, Rodney, that we're not allowed to answer the question during public comment that you had about cutting bilingual programs in our schools, but I've asked the superintendent to address that when we get to the agenda tonight.
Well, wasn't that deal?
Okay, thank you.
Actually, I was talking about you.
Joanne, there's somebody named Joanne who is not muted. Thank you. Is there somebody who would like to speak during public comment?
I would like to speak up. My name is Suzanne Marquez. I'm the 3rd grade dual language teacher at Natchog. And I just want to piggyback on the last speaker's comments. Especially in light of quarantine, I have several students who are their predominant language is not Spanish or English. And now next year we are going to be having them in a monolingual class. My concern is we are adding an additional trauma to them from their background. I've lost a lot of them during the quarantine teaching situation, and now they should be starting in the fall in an English-only classroom. And I'll take my leave.
Thank you very much for weighing in. There's a Odalis Padilla who is not muted. If you are not speaking, could you please mute yourself?
Hi, good afternoon. I will be speaking about the same concern.
Okay, go right ahead and speak up then. And please identify yourself at the beginning. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Odalis Padilla. I'm a mother of student Evelyn Castro. She's in 3rd grade at Natchez School. And I have the same concern about eliminating the bilingual program because that would affect her. That helped her a lot when we come from Puerto Rico. So I have that concern. And I also have to say that, yes, it would be traumatic for her.
Thank you. I'm sorry I mispronounced your first name. I'm very sorry.
It's okay.
Thank you for speaking up.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else who would like to speak during public comment?
Yes, please. My name is Riley de Souza, and I am a 2nd grade teacher at Dos Rios at Natchog. And I'm calling tonight to express my feelings, as some other people are expressing too, and also to speak on behalf of many parents that are looking for me and to be with us in this meeting. So I work in this district for 20 years, and I'm super proud of the bilingual program and our mission that we have. The immigrant families that come to us are served with a program that fits their need and will help their children be more successful. So the decision of cutting the bilingual education, especially for this cohort of those Rios that started 3 years ago, will hurt our students to move forward. And this is a promise that they had when they started 5 years ago, that this would be a program that will be served for them during 5 years, and that was going to raise proficient, dynamic, bilingual students. So we've been teaching these students that they have superpowers for being able to learn the 2 languages at the same time. And now it's disheartening to know that they will be put in a monolingual class without the of being able to use the superpowers that they've been developing. And we know that is really big. Many of us would like to speak different languages. So to finish, I'm not going to go a lot on this, but it's also the mission of our program of providing students the equitable access to high quality education that holds a commitment to support their cultural and linguistic diversity. So we need to keep this program working in order to provide and to give the chance for them to outgrow all the expectations that we have for them in the time. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much. There's still 2 people. Ms. Padilla, you need to mute yourself, and somebody who's on the line 860-428-4212, please mute yourself. It's very hard to hear with background noise. I want the members of the public to be able to be heard, please. Thank you. Who else would like to speak during public comment?
Kristen DeGray.
Okay, go right ahead, Kristen.
Hi, I'm just a little bit confused because this is the first I'm hearing about any bilingual programs being cut. So I'm hoping there's clarification on that, and I'm really surprised by that and really upset by that if that's true. So I hope there's some clarification in the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. As you heard me say to Rodney Alexander after he spoke, I've asked Dr. Youngberg when we get to the meat of the agenda to address what may be going on here with people's concerns. Is there anybody else who wants to speak during public comment?
Lynn, my name is Ellie Garvey, and I'm a parent.
Okay.
I'm a parent here in town. I would just like to voice my concerns that I know no cut is a good cut, so I hope that this is the best avenue to take. I hope that the board is making the best decision for our students. I have 2 in the district, and I know that it would definitely be a huge loss for them if they were to.
We had a little freeze up at the end of what you said. You said it would be a tremendous loss for them. Could you say what you were saying at the end again? Ellie? Oh, maybe it froze up or something. Okay. Is there anybody else who would like to speak during public comment? And again, I see the comments that people are writing. We will clarify the question, but we can't do it during public comment.
Board of Ed meeting.
Jill? Is there a Jill who wants to speak? Is there somebody who's trying to speak? Okay, one more call. Is there anybody else who would like to speak during public comment? Okay, it's nice to see so many people on the call. Nice to see so many familiar faces too, and new faces. The first order of business is approval of the Board of Education meeting minutes from June 3rd, 2020. I'd entertain a motion from the board. A board member?
So move.
Second.
Motion made by Ilda, seconded by Mark. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Hearing and seeing none, I will call for a vote on approval of the June 3rd meeting minutes. I'll hand it over to you, Janet Testa, to do the roll call.
Dr. Galucci,
Aye.
Mr. Doyle,
I see his mouth was frozen, but he said aye, I believe.
Ms. Ray,
Aye.
Mrs. Lambert,
Aye.
Dr. Cabana Owen,
Aye.
Dr. Gomez,
Aye.
Ms. Haney,
Aye.
Ms. Dunick. Thank you.
And I'm voting yes. I don't think you called me.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. You can just count me as a yes. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, so now what we're going to do is go on to the meat of the agenda, what I assume is the reason why most people are on this Zoom meeting today. Last week, we had a pretty extensive presentation from Dr. Youngberg, and we had some discussion about what our options are moving forward with the intense underfunding of our district that was approved by the Board of Finance. And that is a fait accompli. That is what we have to deal with. And we are trying to be open and transparent about the way in which we're handling this decision. I want to say, as the chair of the Board of Ed, the Board of Ed has the ability to weigh in with the superintendent and indicate our concerns and or preferences. But I want to be clear, the way it works is ultimately it is the superintendent's decision. It is not the board's role to tell her what positions to cut and to instruct her in all the details of the management of the district. So I don't want members of the public to think that we're in this conversation to direct the superintendent on how to do her job. But we are here to provide guidance and direction on that. And so what we're going to be doing tonight is continuing the discussion that we had last week. And at that point, we're just getting to absorb the presentation and the ideas that were on the table. And as we indicated last week, it's a process that's in motion. There are lots of moving pieces to this, and things, do change from week to week. But we need to really settle on the key direction that we want to go in dealing with the shortfall in our budget. And so what we're going to be doing is talking about that tonight, and there will likely be action during the action piece of the agenda. But first, I'd like to hand it over to the superintendent, to Dr. Youngberg, to share with us what has been happening, the kinds of where we are as opposed to a week ago on some things, and also maybe some clarification about well, definitely we need some clarification about a number of pieces of testimony that were given during public comment where people were asking questions about bilingual education.
Thank you, Lynn. And I'm going to start off by apologizing to the Board of Ed because the way this information came to you is not the way it's supposed to work. I have not formally made any decisions other than the decisions I've made with my leadership team. That's why it hasn't been brought to the Board of Ed. We haven't made any formal decisions. I will explain the Dos Rios program. And by the way, I share in all the testimony. I want there to be a pre-K to 12 dual language program, and I want all the supports that are currently in place across the district for our students. There's absolutely no way anyone's going to say I don't believe in those things. The problem is the Dos Rios program exists in 3 of our buildings, Windham Center School, Sweeney, and Natchog School. And in order to move that program forward, I have to hire new teachers and I have to purchase materials. We have a $3 million deficit. We're laying people off. So my thoughts were that if we have to hire new people and we have to purchase materials we don't currently have, it would be very difficult to do that in our current budget situation. So I did tell the departments that I was looking for solutions that required no revenue. It does seem like today we've gotten some of those solutions have been pushed forward to me. And if it's possible for us to make them work, we're going to make them work. But I don't know how I was supposed to hire new teachers when I'm laying people off. It doesn't make sense. So that is the reason that I made the decision initially, because I just couldn't justify it. If you remember from my acting superintendent budget back in January or February, I had made the recommendation that we consolidate 2 classrooms, one from Natchog School and one from Sweeney School, because we're paying a full-time teacher to have approximately 12 students in a classroom. It's not fiscally responsible and it's not equitable. So I wanted to collapse those 2 classrooms together to make 1 classroom, meaning that I would free up a teacher. I understood that the parents did not want that solution. It didn't work for them. And I understand, because I don't know if I'd want my kid to leave the school they were in either. But when that data came back that the parents weren't interested in making those changes, there was another example of me having to hire a teacher or maintain a fiscally irresponsible classroom in a budget that you're $3.4 million upside down on doesn't work. So we're going to figure out the solution. If there's a solution that can be had that doesn't involve additional monies, I am all for it. But up until earlier today, we didn't have a solution. So amongst ourselves as a leadership team, we were discussing it. And I have had conversations with the WFT. I've tried to make it crystal clear. It is a money issue. We're having major money issues. There's no way to avoid that. And it's not just the Dos Rios program. And I probably should start a media frenzy about this. We are not able to offer, we're cutting back on things in literacy instruction, numeracy instruction, science instruction. We are not able to provide the Cadillac of education because we don't have the money. Maybe we're pushing the Chevy. We don't have enough money to do the things we need to do for the kids. And so I totally agree with the people who came on tonight. I just wish it didn't happen in this format. I'm sort of a person that likes the whole chain of command and likes the flow to happen. And I didn't bring it to the board yet because it hasn't been formally decided. I've given you all the things we formally decided on. So I do apologize to the board members for it coming out this way. And I hope we can reach solutions that don't cost the district extra money because we simply do not have it.
Dr. Youngberg, would you though clarify, thank you for sharing that with us as the board members. And I also want to say that the characterization that may have been made in some of the testimony, not saying that it was wrong, but it was partial, because we're not eliminating bilingual education programs throughout the district.
No, and actually the one—
Yes, I would like you to clarify that though.
All I was suggesting—
somebody watching this may think that's what we're doing.
All we were suggesting was that we were not going to be able to push the Dos Rios program into the next grades. We were still maintaining the grades that we already have funding for and we already have materials for, and we wouldn't require any additional staffing for, or the involuntary transfers of people to try to make the staffing work. We guarantee that. In fact, Neil and I came up with a plan that would then the following year, assuming we could fix this budget and get back on track, would open it back up. And we really do want to build a school. We want not build a school. We want to put together a school that is strictly dual language. And we've had multiple conversations about it. But I don't understand how to hire people when I'm laying off when I have 40 and a half positions to cut. It just doesn't make sense.
But I think the question I'm asking you is to clarify how we meet the needs of bilingual students in the
students would-
district overall, because we're not just talking about the Dos Rios program.
But that is what they're talking about. That's the
Yeah, I
only
know that's what they're
conversation.
talking about, but it's being characterized as
Well, the
us
only
backing away from
conversations,
bilingual education.
the only conversations I've
Oh,
had
and
about
you.
potentially not moving something forward were strictly the Dos Rios classrooms that were advancing into the next grade level. That's the only conversations I've had. So if it's been misconstrued, that is not the case. I'm talking about the 4th grade at Natchog, the 4th grade Dos Rios classroom at Natchog that we would need to hire a teacher for, the grade 3 at Windham Center and the grade 3 at Sweeney. That's all I'm talking about. Nothing else has been discussed. Nothing else will be touched.
How many students does that affect,
I don't have the numbers in front of me,
if
but
that decision was made?
perhaps Dr. Mundambi is on the call and can answer, or Neil may have the data in front of him as well.
I'm on the call, but I need to look up the numbers again.
Right. So are there any questions from the board on that topic?
It's 48 students.
48 students.
And those students, if we had to go that route, because we weren't able to fund it, would be serviced in a unilingual classroom. It is not research-based. It's not the best option for them. I'm completely aware of that. But I'm going to maintain that we're not providing the best option for any of our students. We have a budget deficit of $3.4 million. It's just, there's no way to do that. So I hope we can come up with solutions that don't cost us more money, but I don't know how you hire new teachers if you're laying off 40 and a half positions.
Are there any board members who would like to comment or ask questions about this particular topic?
I'm glad, Dr. Youngberg, that you're clarifying that you're not eliminating the bilingual program, as bilingual programs, as far as I know, are mandated for up to 30 months of education for the students, support in the state of Connecticut and nationwide. And I understand now it affects 48 students. I understand that we have to be fiscally responsible. I wish and hope that at this juncture, parents would be flexible to group students, even if it's not in your home school, if that is a solution. And I totally believe that, like you well said, all our students won't have all the resources that we need because the Board of Finance didn't fund us as unanimously we were asking. So I don't want people to perceive you or any of us as discriminating against a population, since the majority of our kids are Latino, and that there are alternatives maybe that can be used and help to work with our monolingual students. And I was a monolingual student once, so I know the stress that brings.
From all the research that I've read, Dr. Mundambi is sending me things constantly to read. I appreciate her for that. I know that the best way for us to get students to achieve at the highest level is to create some kind of situation like our one-way dual or our two-way or our dual language school. I understand that. It costs money. Everything costs money. So that's the situation we're in. If they come up with solutions that don't cost us any money, and as a matter of fact, I received one just before this meeting that could at least fix the situation in one of our schools, I'm all for it. I just, again, don't know how you hire new teachers and purchase materials without money. And I think that, honestly and truly, I think that's been done before, and that's why we're in this situation right now.
So are there other comments on this topic? Jaime?
Yes, how much are we talking about? I mean, how much are either you're saving or not expending? In order not to affect any of these programs, in order to continue with what I heard people, wishing to do that. I guess you need 2 classrooms.
We need to hire, go ahead, Neil.
Yeah, you either.
How much are we talking about?
you either have to hire 2 classrooms and change position cuts, which potentially could result in 2 layoffs additionally to the ones we have, or you could potentially make moves that require involuntary transfers. And to allude to Dr. Youngberg's point, we had been given some solutions that we had not been given in the several months we've been discussing this. In the last couple days, that we are meeting with some people to discuss those that won't require layoffs or involuntary transfers. But in the several months of these discussions, a couple of the ones that I've received in the last several hours hadn't been brought up.
So I want everyone to understand this. I feel absolutely terrible about having to lay anyone off. Like, I'm not sleeping at night. I just want everybody to know that. So these are really tough decisions, and they're not going to be good. They're not good for anybody having to make these cuts, but we are thinking so deeply and so strategically about every cut we make. And I know it may not feel that way because nobody wants to lose a job, but I'm thinking about these kids and about your positions as if they were my own. I really am doing that, honestly and truly.
So how much would it cost?
We need to hire new teachers, and we need to purchase
He's
materials.
asking sort of what's a ballpark figure for that? What are we?
A certified teacher, we'll use the ballpark figure of 60 grand. That's beginning salary and benefits.
Plus the materials.
Plus a few $1,000s for materials, which are often covered under grants, but because we've lumped a bunch of our grants together to close the staffing deficit to get us to the 40.5 cuts, I'm telling you, we have thought about this, but hey, if the solutions they're giving us today don't cost us any money, I am all for it.
So let me ask again, are we talking about $130,000? I keep asking this, and then you're going back.
So it could be approximately $130,000.
Approximately
It could be a little bit less
ballpark.
than that. Yep.
Okay,
It depends, because there's several different ways that it could play out, but we know we need at least one teacher, and then we possibly need to involuntary transfer and do a couple shuffle arounds, and then purchase the materials for the classroom, which are a few $1,000s.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments or discussion on that particular topic? And then I want to hand it back over to Dr. Youngberg to talk to us about where we are.
I have a question.
Well, are you a board member? Who's speaking? I can't hear. See, who's speaking? Only board members can ask questions during the board meeting. Sorry. You could put a question into the chat, and I'll try to see if I can get it responded to. But is there anybody on the board who would like to ask questions or make comments on this topic before we move on to other issues related to the budget? Mark.
Thank you, Lynn. I'm willing to, obviously, as the superintendent said, this was something brand new that we haven't heard before, so I certainly want to hear a report on the issue. It's not a matter, it sounds like it's not a matter of cutting a program as it is not a matter of extending a program.
That is correct.
But it's the perennial rock in a hard place. If I don't do this program, then I'm going to do sports. If I don't do sports, I'm going to do art. If I don't do art, I'm going to do music. And everyone's going to tell me, well, you need music because that helps math. You need art because that helps creativity. It's very difficult, but I would look forward to hearing a comprehensive report from the superintendent on how to do this. And I have to say, I mean, I go back, as you know, Lynn, 20 years. I was the chair of the committee that created the Compañeros program. So and my youngest son went through 5 years of the Compañeros program. I have a deep commitment to this type of programming. So I know she's going to make the best decision based on our kids' needs.
And to be perfectly honest, so like I'm one of those people that really likes to win, and I know what the research says about these programs, and our kids aren't going to win, so to speak, if we don't have them. I get that completely, but we have to be able to pay for them. So we have to figure that out. And like I said, if the solutions that were sent to me through email are going to work, then I will be able to report to the board on how we solve the problem. And again, I apologize because I didn't bring it to you yet because we're not there yet.
Right, this is a work in progress that Dr. Youngberg is trying to figure out how we put all the pieces together, you know, to open up the new fiscal year, knowing what we're going to do. It's still a work in progress. And I think, you know, I speak for the full board. everybody on this board is committed to meeting the needs of the students in our district who need and want bilingual, I mean, language appropriate education. All three of my kids are graduates of going all the way through Compañeros in the public school district here. And I think it's a wonderful, what we try to do in this district is wonderful. I wish we could do more of it. Okay, so Dr. Youngberg, you want to give us an update on where you are on things?
Sure. So
There've been
as I
some
mentioned,
changes.
there have been some changes. I can share my screen, which will allow everyone to sort of see the staffing. So this is the same chart that I showed the board last week with a few minor changes that I'll just talk to you about. The first, let me just scroll down a little. Hang on one second. So the first change I have in red for everyone, we have made a decision to swap out the Barrows TESOL teacher. I'm hearing an echo because Janet's, can you mute, Janet, do you mind? I'm so sorry. Oh, okay. It's just distracting, sorry about that. We decided to change the TESOL teacher from Barrows and instead propose a cut of the Mandarin teacher. And we made that decision for a couple of reasons. The first is that there's very few students who are accessing the Mandarin curriculum right now, and there are some online options that we feel like we can plug those kids into so they won't be missing anything. The second reason is that teacher holds a secondary math certification that then allows us to place them in a vacancy at the middle school, which eliminates a layoff, right? So that's our goal here, is to eliminate people losing their jobs. So we're gonna swap out the TESOL position for the Mandarin position, but we haven't changed the number of cuts to the WFT. The other two changes that have come about since last week's conversation is we've had a resignation in central office from the clerical, the Windham Association of Support Personnel. And so we're able to save the central office position. It's not on here anymore. We still have another central office greeter position that's being cut, but the position that was going to be half in finance and half in pupil services has been saved from that resignation. And we also have taken off the list is the Secretary 3 position at Windham High School. And we made that decision based on the changes the cuts that we made to the Director of School Counseling and the new responsibilities that are going to be handed over to the high school counselors who may need support from the clerical folks. So we're feeling like it's not a good time to also short them a secretary. Although I want to point out, and I did in my notes to the board, that this high school did function with 4 secretaries instead of 5 during a medical leave. So we know they can do it. So if we have to go back that route, we might have to do that in the future, but for right now, we're leaving that in place. So at this point in time, we have 40.5 positions that are proposed for cuts. It's a lot of position cuts, which is why we said we couldn't hire new people when we're eliminating 40.5 positions in the district. So I don't know if there's any questions from the board about where we are.
Anybody from the board want to chime in?
I would like to say, Miss Tracy,
Ilda? Ilda,
yes.
yeah. Just make sure you identify yourself before you speak.
Sorry.
I
This
keep
is
forgetting
Ilda
to ask you
Ray.
to do that.
This is Ilda Ray. Thanks, Miss Tracy, for this hard work that you and your staff have had to do. You know, it's very sad looking at all these cuts that we might have to make. I do appreciate that you were able to put, well, hopefully we're able to put some of them back, like especially the security guards, because we need the third one at the high school and at the middle school. So I do appreciate that, and I hope that we are able to make that happen. And I too, I hate seeing all these layoffs. So hopefully we can avoid them, but unfortunately, with the crumbs that they've given us,
So,
I just keep thinking, why can't we go and say, hey, we can't We can't live with this. This is not enough. Our kids deserve better. Our staff deserve better. We cannot survive with all these cuts. Can we do that?
I don't think so.
We can say it all we want, but they took the vote. The vote has been done. The mill rate has been set. The tax bills are going out. I don't think we have any recourse except to deal with what we have and possibly get more money moving forward.
Yes, Kristen, you're right.
They didn't listen to us.
So it is true that when you're looking at 40.5 cuts, we're never going to make everybody happy. Everyone is always going to want to protect something, and I don't blame you. I mean, that's just perfectly natural to feel that way. But the reality is the budget doesn't support a staffing structure that's any larger than this one. So we have to make tough decisions. So we're trying to be strategic and very thoughtful and trying to reduce the potential for layoffs. So that's really our goal right now. I do still strongly believe we need to consolidate our elementary schools for 2021. And there will be cuts when that happens, but I was hoping we were going to get through this year without having to make this, having to have this drastic situation right now. But it is what it is right now. So we just have to figure out how to get through it. And we're still closing our books. And again, the same thing is true. If as we're closing out the books for the 2021 school year, if we find additional money, we're going to throw it at staffing. Like we're gonna bring positions back. And I provided the board a list of priorities of how we would bring those back. And again, those have been thought through very carefully also. Everything has been very thoughtful. No decisions are being made without seriously thinking about it from a fiscal standpoint, from a school operational standpoint, and from an employee standpoint.
May I ask a question? It's Tracy Lambert.
Absolutely, go right ahead.
You just said that, Dr. Youngberg, it kind of, we're going to try and keep the money to bring back staffing, but we're not allowed to roll it over. So how have we had a conversation with the town, the Board of Finance? Has that already happened? Or is it reality that there's extra money, or is it grant money? I'm not understanding that. I'm sorry.
So go ahead. I don't know.
This is Lynn. The Finance and Audit Committee had a meeting right before this. We have some recommendations about dealing with excess money that we're gonna hopefully have before the end of the fiscal year. We're not, what we're dealing with is spending it down and trying to take some money out of things that we have to spend next year, but we can't roll it over.
Okay, thank you.
Did I say it right? Mark and Tracy? Yeah. Okay.
I think so, yes. Thank you.
And we'll be talking about that under action items. Mark, go ahead.
Yes, I was agreeing with you. Yes, you said it right.
Hi, this is Katina.
So for members of the public who are listening, we can't have a surplus at the end of the year and just keep it. We have to get permission from the town. And so we're just saying, let's just spend it down and try to keep from having to pay for some things next year. So it's just sort of a little switch, it's a way to not have to go and get permission and get turned down and be able to use the money.
And just so everybody knows, the only reason at all we may end up with a surplus is because of COVID-19. Otherwise, we got a 0% increase, and we didn't get it until December 3rd, and we already made 29 cuts. We've already cut 29 positions. So I just want to point that out. If we end up with any kind of surplus, it's because of COVID-19.
This is Katina. And Dr. Youngberg, I saw in the documentation you sent us regarding retirements, potential retirements. How is that going? I'm not sure if this is the appropriate moment to discuss those, but yeah,
Sure. So just before the meetings, the Finance and Audit Committee meeting this evening, we received the information from Lockton, so we haven't had a chance to actually go through it, but we are hoping to provide some kind of retirement incentive. We know that we have 45 employees currently on our books who are 65 or older. And then we have a number of employees who are close to retirement age. So we're hoping to offer some kind of cash and a combination of cash and health insurance incentive that might motivate people to want to retire, which could, again, save jobs. So we are working on that, trying to figure that out. The team and I have a meeting scheduled first thing in the morning to go through that and figure out whether or not that's going to be something that makes sense, you know, in terms of saving money for the district. But that is what we asked our consultants to provide for us is the health insurance incentive piece. And again, retirement incentives will depend on how many people are interested in taking them. And we have to figure it has to be cost effective. It has to make sense for the district to offer it based on the number of people who are going to take it, you know, for it to actually help us. But we are trying to do that to see if that helps us save jobs for this year.
Mark?
Yeah,
Bettina, are you, Mark?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
As she was saying, that we probably won't see that results of that program until late July or August, because you have to develop it, roll it out, give the teachers time to react to it, and then there's a plateau. It'll have to be, if X number of teachers don't accept it, then the program goes away. So we won't actually know the benefit of that type of programming until August, probably at the earliest, given time for everybody to react to it. It's just, it's a possibility, but it's one of those things where there's a break-even point where you have to have a certain number of people accept it, so you're not spending more than you're getting back.
That's correct. And it is possible that we have to lay people off, and then we can potentially bring them back if it turns out that it's something the district can offer to save us money. But you're right, it's not going to happen overnight.
I have a comment. This is Mary.
Go ahead, Mary.
Yeah, I just want to say I do worry a little about losing our senior experienced teachers. I know that this could be an option that some have been considering anyway, but, you know, I do want to say that it's, you know, a valuable thing in a school district to have, you know, very experienced teachers who mentor the younger ones. And sometimes in our district, there has been a kind of, you know, not the proper sequence or the ideal sequence of new, middle, and later career teachers, which, you know, keeps a very nice flow of new energy and great experience. So I just want to put that there, because I do know when there's these kinds of exigencies with money and all, it can look like, okay, let's get this group out or move them along, and it could be harmful in the long run. But I do understand that we're very, you know, constrained, and it's heartbreaking what the Board of Finance did. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Is there anybody, yeah, you know, and it's voluntary, completely voluntary. Nobody will be forced to take retirement.
Correct.
Yeah. It's not desirable to push people out. That some people just may be ready and waiting for an offer.
Absolutely.
So is there any other question that people have about any of what Dr. Youngberg has shared with us thus far?
Lynn, can I ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, this is Paula Haney. The potential surplus that we might have as a result of COVID-19, you had mentioned that there's a possibility we could use it to spend for some things that we would need next year. If there's an amount that has to go back to the town, there is an opportunity to ask that they kind of return it to us. I mean, is there an opportunity to at least?
That's always an opportunity. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's a possibility.
Right. I mean, we're going to talk about it under action items, but I guess I should just, like, rather than like leaving people like
we have a couple options that don't require the town to weigh in, and I think we're going to try to take up some of those options.
Okay.
One of the options is, you know, the second half of the teacher grievance that we have a payout on, rather than doing that during the next fiscal year, doing it this year, and we could take action on that under action items. And the other one is pension amortization scenario that we had talked about briefly with Rita Parsiak. She gave us a chart on that last week, and we could take action on that tonight. We're talking in the ballpark of, at this point, around $400,000, which could change between now and the end of the year, but that's what the anticipated amount is, right?
Rita, do you want to weigh in?
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody else who wanted to ask any questions or make any comments? Rita, go ahead.
I just wanted to add to Tracy's retirement incentive that these numbers are all staff, not just certified staff.
Yeah, there was a
All
comment
Windham employees.
about that. Yes, thank you.
Right, because we have people across all bargaining units who, the number, the 45 employees who are 65 or older are across all of our bargaining units.
Is there anybody else who wants to, anybody on the board who wants to make any comment on where we are, or suggestions or questions? Because we won't be meeting again unless there's a special reason to until the end of the month. And so essentially what we're doing is, Mark, okay, go right ahead. Let me just finish the sentence. Essentially, we're giving Dr. Youngberg direction tonight, but she's going to ultimately be making the decisions in consultation with her staff. Mark? You need to unmute.
Sorry, this is Mark Doyle. I just want to make sure we're clear. We're actually talking about two different things. One is the early retirement benefit, if we got someone to retire early. The other, it seems to be if we have some of our older employees who are eligible for Medicare coverage, to switch them off the health insurance. So it's actually two different programs. Is that correct, Dr. Youngberg? Or Rita?
I think that's correct. That there's two separate things that you're going to talk about tonight. The 2%.
No, in terms of the retirement incentive, there are two different retirement incentives. One is the actual retirement incentive. So if I'm a teacher and I want to retire early, you're going to put together a package that maybe take you early retirement. And the other one seems to be here, we're talking about with Lockton, moving people off, giving them incentive to move off our insurance and go into Medicare if they're all eligible, is what you see written down here in your.
Go ahead, Rita.
No, it's all a retirement incentive. They have the option. We can't force them to move off Medicare and move off of our plan and go on to Medicare. This is a retirement incentive for all age groups. So we're looking at both age groups to see how much it would cost, but it is all just a retirement incentive for all age groups and all unions.
Okay, so I was looking at one of your bullets say that currently 45 employees are 65 and older, meaning their health insurance coverage should be secondary to Medicare coverage. So
that's what would happen if they did retire.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
We'll get that. People on the board understand what we're talking about here? Okay. Are there any other comments for Dr. Youngberg? Questions, ideas? Mary? Or you say, yes, you understood. Okay.
No, I was just saying I was fine with the explanation.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Thank you. Is there any other comments, questions, suggestions for Dr. Youngberg? Dr. Youngberg, there is a question from a parent about what the plan is for the students moving who aren't going to be able to go up the next level in Dos Rios. And I think you said it earlier, they'll be going into the monolingual classes.
Right. If we can't find a solution that doesn't require us to spend additional monies that we don't have, they would go into a unilingual classroom and they would be supported just like they're supported in other districts that don't have Dos Rios.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. Katina.
Yeah, I had a question regarding those 48 students all of a sudden. How many of those 48 students have been in bilingual education the past couple of years, and how many of them are brand new arrivals? Because some of the kids might have more English skills than others.
I don't have that. I don't think we have that data right now, but we certainly can find it for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Okay, so hearing no more, we're going to go on to some possible action items this evening. Dr. Youngberg is going to be moving forward from this meeting with this framework that she's presented to us. And we all should understand that there may be changes to it. But right now, this is the latest thinking. Correct, Dr. Youngberg?
That's correct. Our goal is to bring back as many positions as we possibly can afford to bring back. So any opportunities that we find that where that might happen, we're going to take advantage of it. Like, I'll give you an example. Today I got a call about a grant that the district is currently not tapping into, and that may allow us to, that may free up some money that could allow us to potentially offset some of the staffing issues. We don't have the grant yet, but it's an opportunity to generate more revenue that puts us in a better position. So I'm working on trying to figure that out as well. So any opportunities we have to close this staffing gap, we're going to take advantage of.
Okay, and I just want to encourage the teachers and other staff who are on the call to keep communicating with their their principals and their unions, and funnel any productive, helpful information about how we can deal with these challenges to the superintendent's office at this point. So we're going to go on to the next item on the agenda, which are action items. And I'm going to hand it over to Mark Doyle because there are two recommendations coming out of the Finance and Audit Committee that we could take up first this evening.
Okay, Lynn. Yeah, we the Finance and Audit met right before this meeting. We wanted to recommend that we approve moving payment for the teacher grievance settlement from the 2021 budget into the 1920 budget. And we want to recommend that we, I don't know if we're going to take these separate recommendations, but the other recommendations.
Yeah, let's do two motions, okay?
All right. So we're going to, I'll make the motion that we move the, I'll make a motion that we move the payment of the teacher settlement from the 2021 budget to the 1920 budget.
Second, Tracy Lambert.
Motion made by Mark, seconded by Tracy Lambert. Any discussion on this? Does everybody understand what we're doing here on the board? Okay, just for the members of the public, we have a teacher grievance that we have to settle. It entails a pretty hefty sum of money, and we agreed that we'd pay it out in two sums, one this year and one next year. What we're deciding to do tonight is pay all of it out in this year with the money that we have that will be left in our budget before June 30th. So we don't have to have that money being spent next year, which opens up more options for us, for a solution. Any further discussion? Yeah.
Can we just make sure we say that the only reason we have this extra money is because of the COVID-19, not because money was mismanaged or unspent or services weren't given or any of those things? I want to make sure we're clear on that because the rumors abound out there, and I don't want anybody to think that there was extra cash just lying around. It's only because of the COVID-19 savings, having to pay out a little bit less on the bus contract and stuff like that.
Yeah, and we can actually provide a report that shows you exactly where we didn't spend money because of COVID-19, because that's how careful our books are being monitored.
Because Rita's fabulous, but
because Rita's fabulous.
But I think that might not be a bad thing to put up somewhere, either in the next packet or on the district website or something like that, because there's going to be people out there who say, we pad our budget every year and wait till the end of 2020, 2021, and we'll find a ton of extra money. And the only reason we have this, it was a really tough discussion we were in negotiations about how to pay it out. And the suggestion was made in 2 years or in 1 year. And I was afraid with the state of our budget in November that we would run into, you know, a huge deficit if we paid it out all at once. And I said, let's wait and see. If we have the extra money, that's great. Never anticipating COVID-19 would happen at that point and people would be hoarding toilet paper. But that, you know, this might be coming up at some point, and if we do have extra money, that's great. So I think maybe an explanation publicly wouldn't be a bad idea, just to prove that we're not misspending the public's money. Thank you.
So I have a question.
Yeah, Jaime, go ahead.
This money have not been included in the 2021 budget yet. I mean, the payments for the grievance, they have not. I mean, we worked on the 2021
Well,
budget.
you
right?
wanted to know whether it was in the 2021 budget
That's right. Yes.
that was proposed?
No,
No, it wasn't.
no, we didn't settle on the grievance, I think, until March.
The budget was already created.
That's when we knew about the dollar figures.
So it's money that we would have had to find next year. So now we have the ability to just get it out of our hands now. And so we're proposing doing that, and that's what the motion is on the floor.
Okay.
And Rita, could you tell us the dollar amount again?
It went from 130 down to, it's $115,000 to pay out the second half.
You froze up a little. What would you say the number again?
Oh, sorry, $115,000.
Okay, 115,000. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the floor, I will have Janet Testa take a roll call.
Dr. Galucci,
Aye.
Mr. Doyle,
Yes.
Ms. Ray,
Yes.
Ms. Lambert,
Aye.
Dr. Caban-Owen,
Aye.
Dr. Gomez,
Aye.
Ms. Dunick, Ms. Haney,
Aye.
Ms. Ide.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now we have a second action item from the Finance and Audit Committee.
Right, the
meeting.
second
And Mark, I'm gonna
recommendation.
turn it over to you.
This is Mark Doyle. Second recommendation from the Finance and Audit Committee was to approve the revised payment plan for the, I think that's what we call it, revised payment for the retirement
Pension
program.
amortization
Pension amortization.
scenario.
Right, so it was scenario number 3, as I recall. Is that correct, Rita? So I make that motion. Based upon the administration's recommendation that we go with their recommended pension payment plan.
So there's a motion on the floor made by Mark. Do I hear a second on that?
Second.
Second by Paula. And, you know, we talked a little bit about this last week when we met, and then we talked about it again at the Finance and Audit Committee, and I'm trying to find that chart again, but Rita, the recommendation was that we amortize the pension at a 2% rate?
2%.
It's a 2%.
20 years, 2%.
Over 20 years, which would save us $151,000. So are there any questions, comments on that, discussion on that? Okay, hearing none, I'll have Janet Testa do a roll call.
Dr. Galucci,
Aye.
Mr. Doyle,
You said aye, I think.
Mark, do we have an aye? You're muted.
On mute.
Oh.
It was your motion. I'll take an aye. Ms. Ray.
Aye.
Ms. Lambert.
Aye.
Dr. Caban-Owen.
Aye.
There.
Dr. Gomez.
Aye.
Ms. Dunick. Ms. Haney.
Aye.
Ms. Ide.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Now, we left it pretty open on this line item on the agenda. So is there anything else that people would like to take action on this evening? Okay, are there any final comments that you'd like to make, Dr. Youngberg? Not to put you on the spot, you don't have to say.
No, I appreciate the board taking the action on those because that helps us sort of figure out next steps as we close out our books for the end of this school year. I again want to just reiterate that we are working really hard to try to save as many jobs as possible this year. We're going to save every position we can afford to pay. I just want to make that crystal clear. I also had some good news to share. I don't know, now is not the appropriate time, but I wanted to make sure that
Please do, because I was going to if you did.
Sort of anticlimactic, but I wanted to make sure the board knew that tomorrow we are going to surpass the 100,000th meal served through our food services department since we closed the school down on since March 16th was the first day they started. So 100,000 meals is a pretty impressive number. So just celebrating Eric Vole and the whole entire food service department. We totally appreciate them. And we're doing a media alert about it and hoping to get potentially some TV and some radio coverage. I know that they put Vernon Public Schools on TV for 50,000. We got them hands down. So we better be on TV or something big. So kudos to the food service department.
That's incredible. That's great. And every time I've come to the school and seen them outside, standing outside in all the different weather conditions, handing out food, anybody who, who has a chance to thank them in person should do that. Thank you. I also have a little bit of good news to share. That Dr. Youngberg has somehow the COVID-19 logjam at the state level got moved forward this past week, and Dr. Youngberg got word that her 093 has been approved, which means that when she starts on July 1st as under her contract as our superintendent, we will no longer need to use the word acting.
As long as the commissioner has signed off on the special paperwork by then, yes, that is true.
If I have to go track him down at his house in Meriden,
okay,
I will do that and get him to sign it. And Neil's laughing because he knows what I mean by that. But no, we will get him to sign it. And so that's very exciting news that Dr. Youngberg has gotten approval from the state. They were so impressed that they decided that there didn't need to be any interview or any further to do about all of this. Just go ahead and acknowledge that the woman is doing the job of the superintendent right now. So thanks.
Lynn?
Thank you.
Lynn?
Yes, Tracy.
It's Tracy Lambert. Do we have to make a motion to take the acting away as of July 1st?
Well, it couldn't hurt to do, that.
It's just like housekeeping. I don't know if we have to or not.
I don't know, but let's just do it.
Okay.
Oh, I was going to say, do you want to wait till the June 24th meeting? Because I may already know whether or not he signed off on the special little paper.
Okay, we can wait. I just want to make sure it's done right because we named her acting, and if we have to adjust that, I would be more than happy to make that motion. And we're very happy for you. And I don't think we had any doubt.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, let's make a note to remember to do that on June 24th, though, too.
I will make a note, but the original motion did provide for her title to be changed once the certification came through. But I will add it to the agenda anyway, because it's good.
Mm-hmm. And when we can all get together, we'll have to, Mary's saying we should have virtual cake. I say when we all get together, we should have some cake, do something to celebrate.
There's no calories in virtual cake.
Right, that's true. We could have crudité. Okay, I'm going to open up to public comment. Is there anybody who would like to speak during public comment?
Can I say something about the seniors or not?
Sure, why not?
So I want to
Identify yourself as a member of the public.
I'm Katina Cabano Owen, the parent, very proud parent of one of the graduating seniors. And so right now I'm a public comment person. Thank you to Windham High School staff for placing the pictures of all 146 kids in front of the school. Thank you to the DeVivo family for sponsoring that. All the pictures are also coming out in the Chronicle, so buy the Chronicle. And all the pictures also, thank you to several of the town people, will be showcased in the billboard, electronic billboard. Thank you to Maria Nazario for organizing the technical part. On June 17th, the day of the graduation, and if I have anything to say, on June 18th also. So all the kids will showcase and be recognized. And last night, thank you, Mrs. Lambert and everybody else, the amazing scholarships that the kids received, going to different colleges. We need to showcase how many of our kids are going to college and the careers they are having. I was so touched. So thank you, and go Whippets!
And make sure you go to the parade on Friday.
That is right. We have a parade. Meet at 5:15 at the high school. Done.
Take off at 6 though. Right.
The kickoff is at 6, and if you don't have a senior in the parade route has been put on the high school Facebook page and web page. You can go there and see the route, and you can wait at your nearby corner. They tried to have every senior's house be passed, but it was like an 8-hour parade, and we're starting at 6. That's not a good idea. But yeah, you can sit in front of your house, you can beep and wave. I've been taking pictures in front of the high school for 2 weeks now. Everybody who's going by is beeping and cheering them on and congratulating them. It's really nice to see the community coming together for these kids who have been a little bit shortchanged in their senior year, and people are just beeping and yelling congratulations and waving. And now all those signs are out there and people are stopping and taking pictures. It's really fabulous to see. So thank you guys to the community for all your support. If you're in Windham on Friday afternoon, evening, stop somewhere and just watch the kids go by in their caps and gowns, beeping their horns with their decorated cars. It's going to be fabulous.
Hi, this is Ilda Ray.
Yes?
I just have a couple things to say. I guess this is public comment.
Yes, you're speaking as a mom now?
I'm speaking as a mom, and I'm a little touched because this is my last board meeting as a mom. As a board mom, as of Tuesday, I won't be a board mom. Well, a board mom
Well,
of a
you will
student.
still be a mother. Your daughter
I'll
just
still
won't
be
be
a
in the
mother,
public school system.
but I won't be a mother of a high school student, a Windham Public School student, and it's been an honor. Here I go again. It's been an honor.
No, you'll start the rest of us off. Don't you dare, Ilda.
I'm trying to hold it back. It's hard. So, but it's been an honor to be a part of Windham Public Schools, and Mia's been a Windham Public School student since she was in preschool. And I don't care what people say about Windham Public Schools. We rock. Mia has done amazing. She's a scholar athlete. She's going to UConn. Thank you to all the scholarships that were awarded to her last night. We appreciate that. Congratulations to all the other students who did get scholarships. I so appreciate it, and I will sing it on the rooftop, the praises to Windham Public Schools, and I don't care what anybody says.
You tell me who's saying something about Windham Public Schools. You tell me
Well, when they choose not to send their students to Windham High School, they're missing out. Let me tell you, they are missing out because my daughter has excelled. So thank you, and I'll see you on the other side next time.
Tracy Lambert's biting her lip. Are you okay, Tracy?
I'm okay. No, I've been holding it together, so that's why I'm not letting Elda derail me at this point, because the kids and the other people from Sweeney and Barrows know how easily I cry. But yeah, I've had Windham Public School students since 2000. So this is really hard for me too. But I am amazed talking to these kids as I'm doing their pictures, and I'm not looking for praise for myself, but talking to these kids, like, where are you going next year? And them telling me that they have full scholarships to UConn and nearly full scholarships to other universities, or full scholarships to wherever they're going. They've gotten financial aid. People have been helpful. Dollars for Scholars, Project Grad. Other people have been pitching in, the Booster Club, the local scholarships, the way this community gives back, and what Windham Public School students on their own have earned. Mia told me she got a full scholarship. Ian's got a good scholarship. Andrew's got a full scholarship. These students that have worked hard, and then when I see people on Facebook or people in public asking me, where did your kids go to high school? Same place my husband did, and my brother-in-laws, and all 3 of my kids, and they're all doing fabulous. I love to be able to tell them that it's not what you think, and if you make the most of the opportunities you're given, and the opportunities from Windham Public Schools are vast, you make the most of the opportunities. If you reach out and take what's offered to you, you will go far in this district, and these kids are just proof of all of that, and it really made me feel really good to see the things that these kids are earning and deserving with some hard work. So yeah, Tracy Youngberg, I'm with you. Don't you dare say anything bad about my schools, because they're fabulous and our kids have done really, really well.
Oh, I have 2 more announcements to make. So tomorrow,
quick,
really
Elda,
quick.
because it's
So, well, I'm asking for help too. So tomorrow, the Windham High School PTSO, the Whippets, no, I was gonna say the Whippets. Yes, the Whippets, the Booster Club, and Project Graduation. We've come together and we have gotten all the kids' yard signs with their names on it. We're gonna put them out on their yards starting tomorrow. So we would love help. If you can help, meet us between 9 and 2 at the rec department. We're gonna put them together and start passing them out. And then on Friday at the parade, we're gonna give each of them a t-shirt with all their names on the back of the t-shirt. So that's it. Go Whippets. Thank you for letting me share.
okay. Thank you. We got 3 moms of graduating high school seniors on the board right now. That's like really special. It's really special. So is there anybody else who would like to speak during public comment?
Last comment, I promise.
I'm breaking the rules here, letting you speak twice, Katrina.
Yes, okay. So, you know what? You said it's really special.
I know.
What special was all the staff in Natchog, North Windham, Windham Center, and Windham High School that helped Ian Celis save
Which way is the front?
I can see
Which way
right
is the
there,
front?
Christina McClintock and many others on, and so I want to say personally, thank you, because, yep, first generation in her biological family to graduate from high school and go to college. That's what you guys did. You guys did that.
Here, here.
Sorry, can I make a correction? I'm sorry. We're breaking all the rules today. So Ms. Kavanaugh just reminded me, we're starting at 9, but throughout the day, so 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're gonna either be getting them together and also passing them out. And I understand that some staff from high school is gonna help us after 3. So I stand
Great.
corrected. Thank you.
Thank
Have a good
you.
night, everyone.
Thanks. So anybody else want to speak during public comment? Well, I want to thank you all for sticking with us through these meetings. It's actually been, I think, pretty exciting to have so many people who work in our district and who live in town and or live in town on the calls with, on the Zoom meetings with us. And I hope we'll see more of this, because I think we'll probably be meeting virtually on and off for quite a while. So this is a new normal, and I think that it is really inspiring for us as board members to feel you all with us, even when you have criticisms of us. To feel you all with us is really important and very, very helpful. So if there's nobody else who wants to speak, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
Motion made by Tracy Lambert, seconded by Ilda Ray, and we're adjourned.
Woohoo! Thank you, everybody.
8:15. Thanks. Good night.